Welcome to day 26 of how to automate your law firm in 90 days. I am Shay Jackson, your AI automation specialist. We are continuing with our client intake automations. In this video, I will show you how to schedule an appointment for a particular attorney based on the case type. It will also update it in that attorney's calendar. Let's dive in. Let's get started. I am in my client intake form base in Airtable. If this looks new to you, I will have a link up top where you can take a look at yesterday's video. So, there are a couple of things that I did add to this base. One is a view. I wanted to set up a view where I am able to see appointments based on the status of schedule initial consultation. And we got this review status from here by group status, and it's also in all clients as well. But the by review status is a quicker view where you're able to go and see who all needs the different types of services to be addressed. Okay. So for schedule initial consultation, you see we have Rachel, Johnny, and Billy Roberts. So I'm going to the appointments and you see here is Rachel, Johnny, and Billy. Okay. Another thing that I did in this appointments view, if you notice, it has 61 hidden fields. In the all clients view, there is so much information that I will not need for my appointments view. And one of the things that I talked about in an earlier video concerning Airtable is just what information someone needs to see. Okay. And for scheduling appointments, it may be your legal assistant, it may be your executive secretary, it may be your account representative, whoever it is, they do not need to have all of this data on the client. All they really need is the client's name, the contact information, and also, excuse me, what kind of type of case it is. That's it. And also what attorney will be assigned to it. Everything else, they really don't need to know, which is good because you really want to protect confidential information as much as possible. And designating different views and the information that can be seen is one way you're able to do that. Okay, so 61 hidden fields, they're still the same fields that were in all clients. I just hid them because they're not needed. Also, the other thing that I did was in this view, I added a couple of fields. I talked about in an earlier video how instead of full name, I like separating first name and last name because whenever I'm creating a workflow automation to send out communication, usually you don't say the person's full name. You'll say, hello, Rachel, or Mr. Freeman, but not Mr. Johnny Freeman or hello, Johnny Freeman. And that is why I created two different fields for first name and last name, because it definitely gives me a lot more flexibility when I am creating workflow automations. The review status, and here you see that what is filtered by, I filtered it by where the review status is schedule initial consultation, because that is all I want to see in this view. If we need to schedule a consultation, that is what we want to see. Now, and I'll show you, for example, you see right here, we have three names. Let's say that we're going to go to our review by status, and I'm going to change Shirley Ford. I'm going to change her from keep in touch to schedule initial consultation. Okay. So watch, when I go back to appointments, you'll see that Shirley Ford has been added to schedule initial consultation, and I'll show you here also in all clients too. Here's Cheryl Ford's record, and let me scroll over some. And you see that her review status is schedule initial consultation, which is powerful. In Airtable, when you change one thing in, like say for instance, like we did in the view, it changes it for all views in that table. Okay, let me go back to appointments. The other thing that I added was consultation date. So we want to know when the client would like to schedule an appointment. So I have a scheduled consultation, I have a status. We haven't scheduled that appointment yet, so that is why it says pending. As I said before, we need their contact information. So here is their email address, their cell phone number, the case type. Okay, and here is also a little bit of information about what they're looking for. Need someone to help with estate planning. So I created a case type and also assign attorney. And this means it's linked to another record. So let's go to that other record that I create, that other table, not record, that other table I created. And that is how I was able to link to that record. So here I created an attorneys table. And in this table, I just have three fictitious names, Tanya Davidson, and her practice area is estate planning. And Dan Smalls, he is divorce, and Shannon Williams is personal injuries. And I'm going to edit so that you can see I added these specific fields. And so based on the type of law firm you have, you can put what the practice areas are. So for instance, if you are personal injury, specifically a personal injury law firm, you can put work-related injury, car accident. You can change this information and put the attorney or attorneys that handle those specific type of cases, so that when you are able to go and, like for instance, like for divorce, let me show you here in my appointments. You see that Billy Roberts is the one that wants to talk to an attorney about a divorce. So I'm going to go to attorneys, and if you'll notice, when I click inside here, I can look and see. Oh, that's my mistake. I thought that it would only show me on this table that specific client that has divorce, but it doesn't. It does show it here. So when I go to Billy Roberts and I click in assign attorney, I can go and you see it shows, so I can automatically put in Dan Smalls, that is who handles divorces. And when I go back to my attorney's table, you'll notice that client name Billy Roberts has been populated. Powerful, very powerful. Okay, so here in the attorneys, I have the attorney name, their email address, their practice area. And as you're going along, whenever you have the clients, then it'll populate it. So I'll show you that too. So here we have Tanya Davidson is estate planning. So what I'm going to do is there's another here, Johnny Freeman wants to talk to an attorney about estate planning. I'm going to choose Tanya Davidson, since right now in our law firm, she is the only one that handles it. When I go back to my attorney's table, you'll notice that Johnny Freeman has been added. And that is the power of linking records, because it'll automatically populate the information. Okay. And here I have the appointment link for Tanya Davidson. She is the one that we will be using for our demonstration. So again, I added an attorney's table, and you can add your attorneys and put, how much more ever information you want to put or use this as a template. And also, I created an appointments view because I want to automate scheduling appointments. If instead of somebody calling and all of that, if we can have in our form, or we talk to them and they say, okay, I'd like to schedule my consultation date for, and then this example is February 6th, then we can put that and we can automate it. Okay. Now, one of the things that I talked about in using automations is if you have the tools to or resources in the automation you use the majority of the time. So in this example, it's Airtable. If I could create an automation where I'm able to schedule an appointment, put it on that attorney's Google Calendar, I would, and also change the status. I am not able to do all of the things I would like to do in this demonstration. So that is why I'm using make.com, because I talked about before, if you can do everything in your native application, do it. However, if it doesn't meet your needs right now, then that's when you add on another application. And that is why we're using make.com. So here is my scenario that I have set up. Okay. And I'm going to walk through it. So in this scenario, I've uh, I've named it client intake appointment because we're scheduling appointments for the clients to come see the attorney. This is how we're going to start. First, with Airtable, and I'm going to click in it and show you how I connected it. We are going to watch for records. Okay, we are going to watch for records. We are going to watch for our base, our client intake form. The table is intake, and I'm just going to show you right here. Here is the intake table. Here is our client intake base, and our trigger field is date submitted. Okay. The label field we're looking for is status. So I'm going to go down, and in appointments, you see here, this is the field that I'm looking for, status. And we're just going to run one for a test. My view is appointments, and I'm going to click back and forth. Again, here is the view that I'm looking at. And what I'm doing is I am saying for my formula, I am looking for the status that is equal to pending. This is like JSON notations, and that's why the curly brackets are there. And the quote is because this is the pending. I can think of it right now. It's not characters. I can't think of the word that I want to use. Right, it's a string. It's a string. That's the type is string, and that's why I have parentheses around it. Okay, watch records, and this is all of the information that I filled out. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and then once I find that the status is equal to pending, I am going to search for records, because in that record, I would like to, in the client intake form, I'm looking for the attorney because I want to grab their Google Calendar. And I'm using Google Calendar in this instance, but if you use Calendly, Microsoft Outlook, whatever scheduling app you use, you can connect that. But ultimately, that is what you're trying to do. You want to search for that specific attorney so that you can grab their calendar and schedule an appointment. And all I'm pulling from the attorney's table is the name of the client, I'm sorry, the name of the attorney, and also the client name and the attorney's appointment link. Okay. And we're just only running one. Now, there's nothing that you notice that I've connected, but all of this, because you may say, Shay, what is all of that? These are the different fields that have been pulled from Airtable, and it's all of the fields that we have in all clients, appointments, etc. Okay, that is why that information is there, just in case we want to use it. But for this one, for search records, we don't want to use it. Again, the only thing I pulled from my attorney's table. Let me scroll up. It's the basis client intake form. My table is attorney, and all I did was drop down and look for it. And it's only the only two tables I have right here are intake and attorneys. I chose attorneys, and I'm not sorting anything. The grid view for attorneys, this is it right here, the grid view. And the output, I want the attorney name, I want the client name, and the appointment link, that attorney's appointment link. And that is all I need to search for, because I want to get, again, that attorney's scheduling link so that I can create an appointment. So here, for this example, I am using Google Calendar. And I want to preface this by saying, I am using a free plan, so I don't have the liberty of creating work hours. And I'll go, here's the Google Calendar that I'll be using right here. I don't have the liberty, unfortunately, of creating, like if you were, and let me go back. If you wanted to if you haven't set up your work hours yet in Google Calendar, if that's what you're using, or even any of your scheduling apps, the way you do it is go to settings and you just find working hours. But you notice that I don't have working hours here, so I can't really limit the times of me having appointments. Okay. The only thing that I did do is create it where my week starts on Monday and that there are 5 days, so that hopefully attorneys have work life balance and they only schedule clients on weekdays. But if you have do it more than you do 6 days, fine. You can add that as well. Okay. But I wanted to show you that because unfortunately I'm not able to restrict the time period that I can schedule appointments. So be warned that the result may have it, anytime, but I can't control it because it's a free account. Let's go back to Make. Here for and create an event, I am giving in detail. I've linked up the calendar ID. All I did was drop down because I have this connection up here, and I did go over how to create connections with apps and make.com. I can't remember what video it was, but I showed how you can create, especially with Google products. You can use your Google account, and it'll automatically, you're able to be connected to Google Drive, Google Forms, Google Sheets, etc. Okay, let me go back. So and this is how I was able to get my calendar ID, because I was connected. For the event name, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the client's full name. And here I'm getting that full name from Watch Records. Okay. And how do you know that you're pulling from the correct app? Is it's pulsating. So look to the left-hand side, you see it's pulsating. And that is what I put in for full name. Is it an all-day event? No, it's not. And for start date, I'm going to look and see where we had that consultation date. And let me just go back and show you right here in my appointments. When we asked about consultation date, now I'm going to go to Make and I'm going to search for a consultation date because I want to put in that date. Okay. I want to put in that date. And that is where I mapped it to start date. It's mapped to end date as well because it's just going to be one day. And for the duration, I put 1 hour. And you see right here, the format, it just has HH:MM. So I put 1 hour, and you determine how long that initial consultation will be with the client. Now I have a description because I want to put this in my calendar so that I'll know and be prepared for the upcoming event. So what I did was put, for the title, I put consultation with, and I mapped it to that client's full name. Okay. I mapped it back to the full name and description, the case type. I went down and I found case type right here, estate planning, and also the purpose of the current visit. I mapped all of that information. I have the client's cell phone number, and here, right here is the cell phone number. And then for attendees, I put the client's email because I want to be able to send them an email about the event as well. Location, you can choose if it's going to be Zoom. You can put the Zoom link there, or if it's in person, you could put your office address. This is empty. Here, reminders. I do want to send an email reminder, and it's only in minutes, so I want to send an email reminder 2 hours before the event. And in my calendar, I want to show it as busy. And by default, I just left it as default, whether it's public or private. It'll be public by default. Send notifications about the event creation. Yes, I'm going to send it to all guests, and it's drawing from the guests. It's drawing the information from that client. Okay. Can my guests modify the event? No, we don't want them to modify it. Now, I will say, if they need to reschedule, it would be better for them to reschedule it actually in that meeting invite, as opposed to, oh, and then I'll put yes. I'll put yes for that because I was just thinking it through. If they want to reschedule it, then I do want to give them permission if they need to reschedule the event. And if you have like a reschedule policy, it would be some blurb that you would put in there concerning rescheduling an appointment. Okay. See the guest list? Yes, I want to see the guest list. And do we need to add a Google Meet video conferencing? That's up to you. If you're going to use Google Meet, you can change it to yes. Or if you're using Zoom, you can put the Zoom link right there. Or again, if it's in person, you give your law firm's address. Okay. I'm going to click save. Now, attachments, if there was anything that you would want to attach, you could use Google Drive for that. Say, for instance, if there was some type of documentation that they needed to complete or fill out or give consent, you can already have those linked in there so that before the meeting, they'll already have it completed, and you could just move forward with the meeting and you have that information. Okay. I'm going to click save. Now, once that event is created, what I want to do is I want to update my record. So I'm going to go to Airtable. Client intake form is my base. Intake is the table. The record ID, I get it from when I was watching for records. Okay. So here is where you get the ID from. For that specific record, that's the one that you want to update. And the only thing that I want to update, let me click out. The only thing that I want to update is I want to go and change it from pending I want to change the status from pending to scheduled. Okay, because it started off, we were looking for records that were pending, found the attorney, found their appointment schedule so that we can schedule an appointment for that client um, through automation. And now we want to change that record from pending to schedule so that we're only looking, we want Airtable to only look for records that are truly pending. So now we changed and we updated the record and we're going to save it. Okay. So now let's run it. I am going to, and here we see the only one that we have pending for our example is Rachel Chapman, and her consultation date that she requested is February 6th. Estate planning is the case type, and Tanya Davidson is the assigned attorney. So let's go to Make and make magic happen. Okay, I want to choose where I want to start because I want to choose that specific record. And here it is right here. I'm going to save it. And now I am going to run. Now, if it's successful, you'll see some air bubbles and they'll have a 1 in it because number 1, that means it's successful. And also, it was only 1 record that was changed. Okay, I'm going to run once. Okay, I have success for all 3. So first, let's go to Google Calendar and let's see if we have a date. And I can't remember. Okay, Rachel's date is February 6th. So let's see if there was something created in February 6th. Actually, it did it on the 5th, so I need to see why that is. I need to update and change that. But here you see that we have, and I must have spelled title wrong. Let me go back. I don't know why it didn't. There you go. Okay. Save. Okay, so here you see that it's showing the 5th, and I need to check and see. I need to do some troubleshooting to see why that is. But you see, other than the misspelling of title, consultation with Rachel Chapman, and the description case type estate planning, and the description is need someone to help with estate planning. Going over here, let's see. This is that's correct. And the contact number and the attendees. So Rachel will be sent an email. Okay. And I did remember I told you that in the minutes for the reminder, I put it as 120 minutes. It has two hours before as email. So this is Tanya Davidson's email, and let me show you. Let me go to attorneys. After this video, obviously I am gonna, y'all know I like troubleshooting. I need to see why it's showing the 5th and not the 6th. And I'm just clicking in so that you can see it's the same email link for Tanya. And also it should change from our appointments. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Appointments, it should change from pending to scheduled. And you see the status is now scheduled, not pending. Let's do one more. Oh, let me see. Is he connected to Tanya Davidson? Yes. And I really want to check and see why the date isn't correct, but I'm not going to do it right now. We know it works. I just need to tune and see why the date isn't correct. Okay, I'm going to choose where I want to start. Okay, I'm going to run it. Okay, so let's look. And Johnny Freeman scheduled it for the 11th. And from the way it's looking, unfortunately, it may be on the 10th. Yeah, it's on the 10th. I'll try to and see what's wrong. And again, like I was talking about earlier, because I'm using a free account, I can't choose what my limit my working hours, but you can if you have Google Workspace. Clicking inside here, we have Johnny Freeman, estate planning. We need help planning for our retirement and estate. Here's his email and contact information as well. Okay, and then when we go back, we see that Johnny has been changed from pending to scheduled. And that is it for this video, where we are scheduling appointments with client intake through automation. I'm thinking, my apologies, I'm thinking about why there's an issue. I'll fix that issue. But this is a very good workflow automation of being able to schedule appointments, not having to have the lawyer call, the attorney call, or the legal assistant call. This is a way to schedule something, find out when the availability of the client, and being able to put it on the attorney's schedule based on their availability. I am Shay Jackson, your AI automation specialist. If you have any questions about Airtable, Make, AI automations, there will be a link in the description box where you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation. Have a great day.